Tori checking in, LOJ Fit Club, and I want to bring to you this month's focus on our transformation group that we always have every single month. This month we are focusing on veganism, right? One of our favorites, veganism. So we're going to take a group of you who are looking to transition to veganism, or not necessarily just veganism in total, but plant-based nutrition in general. Okay, and that could be for many reasons. We're going to talk about some of those here in a second, but I want to make sure that you do. If you have any interest in that, make sure that you watch every single word that I say in this video, and at the end, make sure that you apply for the free strategy call, because regardless, we will give you some tips, some things to do, in order to go in that direction. Okay, so first thing let's talk about is that, and in the recent media outlets and things like that, you've been noticing a lot of publicity on the plant-based diet or veganism, and then some controversy on things like that. Okay, why is this important, and why is this a lot of smoke in that department as it relates to veganism and things like that? Well, I'm a big believer is where there's smoke, there's some fire. Okay, so with that being said, with things like Netflix documentaries and YouTube, and now that information is more accessible, now big time companies and propaganda tactics don't control the media outlet like they once did. So a lot of the truth in a lot of different fields are coming out, and veganism is one of them. Okay, and so this is why you've been seeing a lot of doctors, scientists, and things like that learning about the effects and the positive effects of veganism. And then of course you got people who clap back, quite naturally, like you do with any industry. We're going to talk about some of those things today. So my background a little bit. So for those of you who don't know, I come from the largest vegan community in the world. Okay, a community who left America in the late 1960s, and we reestablished ourselves in a city in the southern region of Israel, and it's a city called Dimona. Okay, so if you want to ask me more questions about that, you can ask me more questions. But so my whole life I have been introduced to the vegan way of life. Okay, I haven't always been vegan because I had a split household. My mother was not vegan back then. She is now, on a plant-based diet now, but back then she was not. So I've never ate pork. Could not even remember the last time I ate beef, maybe 4 or 5 years old or something like that. And then chicken and fish is what I kind of grew up on up until I was about 14 years old. And then I made the conscious decision of going vegan. Now I want you to imagine the uphill battle that was, especially being on sports teams and having to get different meals catered and stuff like that. But I was so sold because I liked the vegan way of life better. I liked the food tasted better to me. I would go to my dad's house and the food was just absolutely like, oh my God. So if it's better for me and is more healthy for me, if it's better for me and it tasted better, I didn't see a reason why not. And I just had that kind of personality. So I made that decision at 14 years old. So I have a lot of knowledge, okay? I run a company where about 90% of us are either vegan or on a plant-based journey, and different professionals, from vegan chefs, right, to nutritionists, to health coaches, yoga instructors, vegan personal trainers. And so I run an organization where, we have all come together and to work under one umbrella, okay? So some of the things that I've seen in this last 6 years of running my organization is, like, for example, this year alone, we've had over 4 to 5 people who have had, chronic illnesses such as diabetes, type 1 and 2, to be able to come off their medication because they're no longer diabetic. Okay? So this is a combination of all the things that we're suggesting lifestyle-wise, but detoxification and plant-based nutrition is probably the top 2. Okay? So with that being said, high blood pressure eradicated, right? People who are struggling with weight and excess weight eradicated, okay? Caloric intake and counting calories and stuff like that is only important when you're not eating the right things. But I don't think there's been nobody who have overdosed on a healthy salad ever in history, or overdosed on or mangoes or watermelon. It's not possible, okay? It's not possible. Your mouth will get tired before your body would actually, start to overdose on those things. So it's about what you're eating, not necessarily how much you're eating. Okay? Does it have a factor? Yes, but a smaller one than you think. Okay? So I've seen it all. I've seen people who've just random things like people who've had dandruff their whole life and now they don't have any dandruff anymore, or pains in their foot or ankles or knees, and now they're on a plant-based diet. Now that's been eradicated. And you're trying to figure out how does that correlate to your diet? Well, it has everything to do with it, because when you feel pain, disease, or anything in the body, it's all based upon inflammation. Okay, a plant-based diet that that is done correctly gets rid of and eradicates inflammation. So then now you have the problem, it dissipates. Okay, as simple as that. We are made from the very minerals of the earth, right? That the same plants that we eat or we need to be eating grows out of. So they take on many facets of those minerals. Okay, mangoes high in magnesium, right? Bananas, potassium, right? And so we learn these different things. So instead of going to a third-party source like, a cow, right, that eats from the same very ground that we're getting the minerals that they're getting from the earth, we just cut out the third party. That's the main thought process behind a plant-based diet. Okay. Some of the reasons that people go vegan, most of it is because of health. Another reason is because of compassion of the animals. I don't talk too much about that part of it because I feel like if humans are healthy, the animals will automatically, it'll have a domino effect, and we'll treat the animals right because we're in our right state of mind. So I think if you took the health aspect of it, it automatically takes care of the compassion aspect of it. But you got some people who that's their thing. No problem with that. But those are the top two reasons that people go vegan. But again, health is probably the number one. So with all that being said, we are on a mission this month, in the month of November, to be able to help you transition more to a vegan lifestyle. We have health coaches, right? If you're local, we got personal trainer who are also coaches. But for the majority of you, we have health coaches. It does not matter where you are, who are trained to be able to help you from where you are to get you where you got to go. Okay? Does that mean that tomorrow, if you start this program, would you have to go vegan? Absolutely not. But what it does mean is that we're going to focus on it, and what you focus on improves. Okay? And we know the different stages that you're going to go through. Okay? And some of the troubles that you may run into. So you have help and accountability. So, and also having a group of people that you're doing it with makes the world a difference. So we're going to do a small focus group of you guys who are looking to do that. Okay? What qualifies you to be in this group? Number one, you got to be at a breaking point as it relates to health, or just trying to do this over and over and over and haven't been successful. We want you to be at a breaking point because you're more the people that are more likely to change, okay? And not to waste our time or your time, okay? If this is not you, please stay away from this right now, maybe a later date. But if you're at a breaking point to where whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to combat illness, whether you're trying to just get better sleep, inflammation, right? You want to just be here live a longer life. This is who we are, gearing this towards, all right? We're currently having a weight loss focus, which was last month, was about weight loss, and they are rocking it out. They're rocking it out. So we're excited about this one. So the other thing that you must have in place is you got to have some finances or some access to resources. Okay, that's a big thing. Like you can't just up and change it, your diet and make certain changes or invest into a coach and your finances are not in order. So whether that, whatever you have to do, in order to gain some finances, make sure that you have those two things in place. Okay, so you got to be financially stable. You also have to be at a breaking point where you're really ready to change. Okay, with that being said, we will do our part and you will make progress. Do you hear me? You will make progress. And you will get closer to where you're trying to go ultimately. With that being said, what I need you to do now is I need you to click below and register for a free 15-minute strategy call with myself, where regardless of what we end up doing after that, whether we do something or not, I'm going to give you tips and strategy based upon where you are and what you must do in order to get where you're trying to go. Okay? Very clear. Very concise, and it's very helpful. Take advantage of that. Now when we have an overload, and depending on the time frame that you apply, when we have an overload, you may have some issues with us scheduling you If we don't reach out to you, just because we're overloaded. But if your application is really nice, and we see a lot of good things in the application, and depending on the time frame, we will expedite you to the front. But don't be discouraged. And if you're serious, continue to follow us. Make sure that you're following us on all social media sites, LOJ Fit Club, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Okay, and keep up with us, because we'll continue to do this line of work. We will never quit. All right, so right now I need you to go apply for the strategy call. We look forward to meeting you, talking to you, and being able to help you upon this journey. I'm Tori, checking in, LOJ Fit Club. Later.